Hello everyone, 10th Dr. Matt here with vlog entry 3, and firstly I just want to say sorry it took me so long to put this together. If you've been following me on my Facebook or Twitter, you'll already know that I've been kind of sucked into Final Fantasy XIV lately, so yeah, sorry not sorry. But quite a bit has happened since vlog 2, so let's get right into it. So first things first, I got my swatches from Baron Boutique, which is cool, so I have those as kind of a reference point, and probably the biggest, most important news is that I actually asked Baron if they would be interested in updating their fabrics to make them more screen accurate, and if so, that I would be more than happy to help them out and send them swatches of my own fabric once I have a final product that looks good. And so they did say that they would be very interested to see my swatches when they're done, so good news there. So hopefully if I can get something that is as close to screen accurate as possible, I'll send it off to Baron and hopefully they'll update their fabrics, and then that way we'll have a really nice, much more cost-effective way to get a screen accurate suit. And last but certainly not least, I got my Spoonflower swatch sampler of all my different designs that I tried out. So let's talk about those. So as I mentioned briefly in vlog 2, basically I had uploaded I think 15 or 16 variations, about 4 or 5 for the blue suit and the rest are for the brown suit, really, because that one was a little bit more difficult to get a starting point, since it's tough to pick up the colors with Photoshop from a scanned piece of fabric because of all the different threads. Whatever. Anyway, so I had a lot of designs, and I've got a couple for each color that came out pretty good. The short story is that I do need to do some more revisions. So I'm still working on them to get them a little bit closer, but I'm going to give you guys a rundown and show you exactly what I have, and that way you guys can tell me what you think, and we can kind of work together and get this thing moving. Okay, so where we left off, I had this was my sort of reference point, that this was one that someone else had designed based on a swatch from Steve Ricks, and it was hopefully going to be very screen accurate. So we know already that that one not exactly great, looks kind of grayish. The pinstripes look okay, but they're a little bit difficult to see from a distance of just a couple feet away. So my first variant that I created, I kept the pinstripe color the same just to get kind of a baseline, but I made the blue much more vivid, and this was one that I actually I've seen a couple others use this. This is one of the blues from the Spoonflower color guide. So I like the blue here. I think it looks very good. I know that in certain photos and things of the original suit, it does look a little more teal, or maybe a little bit less vivid in certain shots. I mean, that's the hard part with this blue suit, is that it's so reactive to light that it's really hard to tell unless you have a swatch of the original fabric, which unfortunately I don't have. Unless you do have one, it's going to be tough you just have to sort of pick and decide which one you want to go for. So just to give you an example, I'm going to put up like a collage here of, these are all photos of the original suit in various lightings. And so what I've done is I've kind of looked more at the pictures where the suit is in sort of a natural light, daylight, or like, camera with a good flash or that sort of thing. So I really want to go for the color that this fabric is going to look like when you're at a con and people are taking pictures of you and that sort of stuff. So I really do like this blue. I don't like the stripes on this because they so up close, like where I'm looking at it right now, it looks pretty good, but again, from just like a couple of feet away, these stripes become very difficult to see at all, and so I realized that that was the case in the show with the suit sometimes. Like, you might not know that it was pinstriped if they had a shot that was a little farther away. But again, we're going for something here where people are going to know that you're the doctor. So you want to be able to see these pinstripes. Not super duper bright, but enough that where people are going to go, oh, that's 10. And they're not just going to say, that's some dude with a blue suit. I don't know. So just to give you a comparison side by side, basically, of how different the blue is, here is mine, and I'm going to put up a scan of this so you can actually like really see it. Here's mine on top next to the original on the bottom, so we can see how vastly different the blue is. So my next one is the same blue background, but I made the stripes a little bit of a brighter red, and this one, so far, out of all my blues that I have, this one is the one that I'm leaning towards the most. So there's that. Now when I first got this and I was looking at it, I said, it looks pretty good, but the stripes look kind of orangey and not really like a deep red. But the more I looked at it and the more I was looking at various pictures of the original suit, the more I liked this one, because a lot of the photos that you do see in various, especially in brighter lightings and things, the stripes on the original suit do look a little bit more of a rusty orange rather than like a deep, like maroon or burgundy even. And I think that's where my fabric is going to differ from like Magnolia's per se, because Magnolia's looks quite good, but I really think that his stripes are a little bit too much of a deep red. I mean, it looks nice, but they really do stand out, I think, a little bit too much. So again, let's put these side by side and I'll put up another scan. So first design with the dark stripes on the top, second design on the bottom. So as of right now, second design is winning. Now for my third design, I went with what appeared to be a deeper blue, and I kept the same brighter pinstripes from my second design. So here's that. So same color pinstripes as the one that I like. This one is a deeper blue. Now in this lighting in here, this looks pretty good, but my issue with this was that in dimmer lightings and actually in like natural sunlight that was just coming to my window when I was opening this package, this blue looked purpley, and obviously we don't want to be dressing up as the Joker, we want to be dressing up as the Doctor. So while I was originally, when I was making these designs, I figured, oh, this one's going to win because it's just going to look right. Actually, I figured maybe it would look something like this. So it looks, again, pretty good, but in most lightings, it looks a little bit too purpley for me. So we get another comparison here. This is design number 2, the one that I really like, and this is design number 3, the purpley one on the bottom. Still, this one I think is winning. So, and the last one I had was that same deeper blue that kind of looks purpley, and the original maroon stripes from the baseline design. So this one I think is just basically out the window because it's too purpley, and this one, like seriously, from more than a foot away, I don't even know if you can see it on camera right now, the stripes just become invisible. So that's all I had so far for the blue swatches. Basically what I did for those, you know, I played around with the pinstripe color a little bit, and I picked from the Spoonflower color guide that I got because a few of the colors looked really perfect. And it's funny because those stripes, the brighter stripes that I did on the color guide, they looked like quite a bit darker, but I guess when they're right next to the blue, the way that the light hits it or whatever, they look a little bit lighter than you might expect. But all in all, I really like design 2, so I think for my revisions, I'm going to keep that one as my new baseline, and I'm going to try a couple others with maybe a couple other shades of blue and a couple other shades of red, just to kind of play around and see if we can't get one that's slightly better. Now, just as sort of a final comparison, I'm going to show you my so far favorite blue fabric of mine versus the Baron Boutique blue fabric. So here we go, and again I'll put up a scan so you can see it really. So in this bright lighting, Baron's blue, the blue of their fabric, to my eye looks pretty good compared to the original, but when this is in like natural lighting or in a little bit dimmer light, or you know, it really looks too dark. And coupled with their very bright red pinstripes, it looks really purple. So I'm going to see if maybe one of the new blue backgrounds I try can get sort of an in-between this, in between this and this. So we'll just kind of go from there. But I definitely would love your guys' input, so I'm going to put up another collage here of my 4 blue designs, so please feel free to vote for your favorite in the comments. Now, onto the brown fabric. This one has been actually, I was assuming this was going to be easier since I have the Magnolia suit, and we know that the colors of that are bang on to the original Gap suit. But the problem is that on the Spoonflower color guide, there really are not any browns. There are a few that are kind of reddish brown, but there are no like chocolatey browns that come even close to what we're going for. So what I've done, that's why I had so many more brown designs than blue designs. I scanned my Magnolia suit and I got a bunch of pictures of the original Gap suit and I put them all side by side and I tried to get kind of like a happy medium that, because it's really tough when you're looking at a scan of fabric. It's hard, like with the eyedropper tool in Photoshop, when you're clicking on it to try and just get that one solid brown. It's not going to happen because all the threads look slightly different and it picks up whichever like exact point you clicked on. So basically I found one that someone on Spoonflower had already designed, and I got that one as like a baseline, and then I kind of designed a bunch of my own around it to try and get as close as possible to the original colors. So out of all of my brown designs, basically I have one that looks pretty close with the brown and one that looks pretty close with the blue stripes. So here's the first one I'm going to show you, and this one, when I first tore it out of the envelope and I was looking at this, I was like, oh man, that's perfect. And I put it next to my Magnolia suit and my heart sank, because while this looks pretty good, I mean, the brown is nice and chocolatey, the stripes are pretty good. I mean, they're a nice cornflower blue, the spacing is good. But when I put this next to the Magnolia suit, I was actually pretty surprised to find out that my actual suit, the brown is quite a bit darker than this. And the blue is actually a little bit lighter. These blue stripes are a little bit too vivid. It needs to be really more of like a sky blue. So this particular swatch, the stripes were the closest out of my batches that I've had. And the brown, like I said, the brown, it's a nice color. It's definitely chocolatey, but it's just not deep enough. I think I need to add a few more layers of brown or grays or something to kind of bring it just darker, but still maintain that brown. Which is not very easy, by the way, let me tell you. So this next one is the closest I've come to getting the brown right. This is obviously darker than my other one, and it's definitely closer to the Magnolia suit, but it's a little bit too dull. It's like the shade is almost right, but it's kind of grayish, and it doesn't have that real like just rich chocolatey brown. It's brown, and it's the color is almost right, but it's just, I can't really describe it. It's just too dull. So I think that this is the closest brown, and so I'm going to be kind of working around this. This one was a brown that I tried to get from a number of shots of the original Gap suit, so I'm not surprised that this one came out the closest. So basically this is the point we're going to work from. And obviously the stripes here are they actually look almost like a bluish greenish color, so obviously that's not really going to fly. So again, just for comparison, I'm going to show you my that last swatch that I had versus Baron Boutique's brown. So there's that, and it's really kind of strange that I didn't expect their brown to be so dark and have the stripes be like so vivid. Because I've seen a number of Baron suits, and in photos they don't look like this, so I'm not sure if they might have changed their brown fabric a little bit fairly recently, because this looks quite a bit different than what I've seen in the past. And so I'm going to put up a scan here of the Baron fabric versus my Magnolia fabric, and so you can really see there the difference. Their brown, to me, it looks almost black, and the stripes in this lighting, the stripes look very blue, but in like natural daylight and things, the stripes look almost like a minty green. And especially when you're taking photos with like a flash, the way the light hits it, for some reason it changes the stripe color like pretty significantly. So again, for the browns, my plan is to kind of keep my new baseline and then just upload some more revisions to try to get the brown closer. And I do have, from the color guide, there are a couple of blues that I must have just missed them the first time that I was doing it, that when I put those right on top of my Magnolia suit, they look like they'll be a perfect match. So I'm very confident that I'll be able to get the stripes very close. And I know that the brown is going to be a little bit more work. So again, I'll put up kind of a collage here. You guys can tell me what you think, which you think are the best pieces of each one, and definitely I value your input, and so we can get something that's screen accurate for a lower price for all of us. So that's basically it. I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed that I didn't just have like a winner for each fabric on this first run, so that I could just say, yep, okay, these are perfect, we're done, let's get it, and but at the same time, I realized that was kind of an unrealistic expectation. So yeah, I'm just going to keep working at it, and I very much look forward to reading your comments and see what you guys think. And I'm just really looking forward to keep moving on this thing and just come out with an awesome product. And I'm really, really super excited that Baron seems to be willing to work with me to update their fabrics. Because obviously, even I don't mind if they're screen printed, but if they can get their screen printing to look more screen accurate, that would be awesome, because then obviously we could get like arguably the most screen accurate suits for like $279, which would be awesome. So I hope that you guys found this interesting. I hope you're all still as excited as I am, and as always, thanks so much for watching.